You're watching Community Producers. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. We are here with Stephen Watson, Stakeholder Engagement Manager, right?
Sure.
Sure, for BC Hydro. We are here at the John Hart Generating Station for our final tour. We've been following this project for 6 years?
Yeah, about that.
Six,
That's right.
7 years. And it has been a fantastic insight to what happens with technology now that we're in 2019. The original John Hart Generating Station was built back in the 1940s,
That's right, 1947.
And that's being torn down by the end of the summer.
That's right.
But Stephen's here to just kind of give us an overview of the project. Let's talk about that. Let's start, just overview. Cost, on time.
Yeah. So we started in 2007. Construction started in 2014. It's a $1.093 billion project. It was scheduled to be operational in fall of 2018. The final touches of the actual new facility go into 2019 by around the spring. And then of course we're moving the old facility by this summer. It's all part of that project, on schedule, on budget. It's just a remarkable project in terms of watching it unfold. You've seen a lot of it, as it's all underground, big large tunnels and caverns where the powerhouse is located. It's just a really neat facility and we're very proud of it. InPower BC is our contractor. SNC Lavalin and Aecon, Frontier Kemper, General Electric's the turbine generator supplier. It's been a really neat project.
Now, what's going on behind us? I can hear, it sounds like dragons in the background.
Yeah, well, we have the 1.8 kilometer long penstock corridor, and it's a mixture of wood stave and then steel. So you can hear behind us this removal of the steel penstocks, and so that's happening right now.
All right, and what's going to happen with that piece of land after all that's gone?
So what will happen is that penstock corridor will be allowed to return to forest over a period of decades, and given BC Hydro's property in the middle of the Elk Falls Provincial Park, that's a good thing. So we get a nice, safe, reliable facility, and our environmental footprint is significantly reduced here at the site.
Now, right down behind us, behind this John Deere machine, is the entry to the underground tunnel of the new generating station. So do you have a ballpark of how much cement went into this project?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, there's two main portal entrances. This is the main access tunnel. It's about 380 meters to get to the powerhouse. Then we have the service tunnel. So there's about 300,000 cubic meters of rock removed.
Wow.
And then as far as the concrete, I can't remember the amount, but it seems to be around 50,000 cubic meters. But there's a lot of concrete placed in terms of the powerhouse. We have the surge tank up at the dam. There was, Island Ready Mix was the local contractor that they used, and they learned a lot about the dynamics of concrete for hydroelectric facilities, so that was great. But yeah, a lot of concrete, a lot of civil work.
Awesome. All right. Well, you're watching Community Producer, and we are going to be back with another segment in a little while. We're going to go inside, and then we'll show you what's going on inside.
Today was a really big milestone for BC Hydro. We have behind me the John Hart Generating Station that was construction started in '46. The first turbine generators went online in late '47, the last few in 1953, and here, basically 71 years later, we've shut it down permanently. And that's because we have a new and improved underground powerhouse that's taking over operation. So for the first generator that we shut down in October of last year, we looked out in the community, and the one person we really kind of resonated with was Georgie M. Price. She's now 99 years old. She was the wife of the first plant manager at John Hart. It was Art Price. And interestingly enough, her son and grandson were actually working on the new John Hart project, so a legacy from start to finish. So she came out, and she was just over the moon, enthralled to be able to pull the lever to signal to shut down that generator. And it meant a lot for our staff. We have to appreciate the past as we move forward in the future. So that was very meaningful, and it was great to have her out. We had Campbell River Mayor and Council out in March to shut down the next generator. Then we had members of our BC Hydro Community Liaison Committee, about 24 stakeholders. They shut down a generator in May. And then just recently, October 1st, we had the Chief Brian Asue of the Weebukai Nation and Chief Chris Roberts of the Weebukai First Nation shut down a forest generator. And today was a day when we shut down the last two generators, and that's when everything went quiet.
1, 2, 3.
The sounds of the operation and the vibration came to an end today, so it was a pretty big moment, poignant moment for us. A little bit emotional, mixed emotions, given how much work's gone into this facility over 71 years. It was the BC Power Commission and then BC Hydro. And so for us, a big day, and I'm glad that we had representatives from the Power Pioneers. About 50 Power Pioneers were here today, and our staff to take in this moment. It doesn't happen very often. This is a very rare occasion. And so we're very pleased with what's happening to remember the old facility transitioned from an old legacy to a new legacy. And so we're transitioning to the new powerhouse. Water's now flowing through tunnels, the generators in the final commissioning mode the next few weeks, and then here we go for another 50, 60 years with that new facility. So a really good day for us.
You're watching Community Producers. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. With me, Stephen Watson from BC Hydro. Stephen, explain where we now are.
Well, we were at the main access tunnel entrance, so we've traveled about 380 meters. That's the main access tunnel entrance right here into the powerhouse. And so within this powerhouse, it's 10 stories high, as long as a football field. We have about 3 or 4 levels below this generator floor, you can see here. So it's massive in terms of what it was excavated into, so that cavern nature to it. But now we have the 3 turbine generators. You have generators 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
They can combine generate about 135 megawatts of power. It's about 80,000 homes we can provide power to. Then we have the office complex where the control room is, but this is a remote control type facility. We don't have staff here when this is operational. This is controlled by our Fraser Valley operations. The only time we have staff in here once everything's finished is for maintenance. So
really?
Yeah, it's not staffed.
There's not going to be a single person.
Well, no, there's not a
controls.
need. There's not a need for people to be here. It's all remotely operated. So we have the generators, all the protection and control equipment. We have the cables that run out to the service tunnel,
Right.
and they connect to the substation, John Hart substation.
Right.
Improvements were made there, and then into the wider grid. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Unbelievable. This looks so different than the first time we came in. Because when we first came, it was just a great big cavern. There was nothing except a cavern. And it was so huge.
Yeah.
And now it's all filled in with
Yeah,
tons of cement.
it is rather amazing, and it's the it speaks to our contractor. It's a great design. The safety part of it, we've gone over 3.5 million person hours of work without a lost time accident. We've our environmental records, no water quality issues, water containment. Of course, the frogs. Remember the frog
Yes.
recovery program. All those kinds of cultural elements of it, of our contractor, and working with Hydro and our team, it's just been phenomenal. And then to see it now, it's basically the final touches are near complete. So
Unbelievable. So where are we going to head to next? To have another
so this is this facility, and why we did it was for reliability, because the old facility was 71 years old.
Yeah.
We did it for earthquake withstand, which is all in bedrock, so seismically strong. And the other one is to protecting downstream fish habitat, because 95% of the river flow comes out of this powerhouse.
Okay.
So we developed a water bypass facility. So we're going to have a look at that. They look like rocket ship boosters. They're pretty cool, so I'll have to go have a look.
All right, great. You're watching Community Producers. Be right back. You're watching Community Producers. I'm Mary Ruth Harris, Stephen Watson from BC Hydro. Stephen, where are we right now, and what are those space rocket thingies?
Yeah, so we're about a level or two below where we were, and this is the water bypass facility. So there's 3 valves.
Okay.
And so just for broader perspective, the John Hart Dam is about 1.6 kilometers upstream. And so water from the John Hart Reservoir enters a new water intake, drops about 100 meters, and then travels down about 100 meters below the surface, over an 8-meter diameter tunnel. A large amount of water, about 124 cubic meters per second of water flow. It's basically the Campbell River flow right there. And so that enters and turns, and the valve and the water inlets narrow as they hit the 3 turbine generators. And that velocity turns the the scroll case, the turbines, and the rotors, and creating electricity. What these are here for is that if one or three of those generators go offline, water is quickly rediverted and passed through these water bypass facility valves. So they provide about 80 cubic meters per second, and that's enough to keep the Campbell River fully covered with water, protects fish habitat. So essentially it's like sieve. If you think of a sieve and the little holes, and then there's another sieve behind that, and the holes aren't aligned, and that takes all the velocity out of the water, hits the surge chamber, and then travels another 500-600 meters to the Campbell River from where we're standing.
Okay.
And so the silvery element to it is actually for noise abatement. These things can be pretty loud when they're operating, but they do have a pretty space-age look to them, I must say.
They do. They look like underground rockets. All right.
And they have, and just for, I mean, this facility went operational in November, and they have been called upon a few times, and they are working as they should. So that's great.
So this is all mainly to protect the fish habitat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why the powerhouse is a little bit larger than a typical powerhouse for this types of megawatt output, and that's because of all the room put in place here for these 3 water bypass valves. So yeah, it's all about the fish in this case.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. All right, you're watching Community Producers. There's more coming up. Stay right where you are. You're watching Community Producers. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. We are now above ground with Stephen Watson. Stephen, what's this empty space beside us? There seems to be something missing.
That's right, 3 large penstocks. So the dam is just upstream from us, and there were 3 wood stave penstocks, 3.66 meters in diameter. And our contractor in Power BC has FMI and NCE as the main contractors removing the old facility. So they're working their way. They're about 75% done in terms of removal of the wood stave penstocks. Should be done by the end of this month, end of April. And of course, removing the steel penstocks. 2 of the 3 surge towers will be removed probably in May-ish. And 1 will stay because it's got communications equipment on it. And it's kind of heritage value there. That would be great. And then the powerhouse will also be gone down to the floor level. And, but of course, people are very interested in the trails. The trails were one of the most important issues when we started this project. So April 1st, we actually shut down the Station View Trail as it goes past the penstock area because of the work that's going on. So that'll be closed till probably around August. So people can walk either side of the river, but unfortunately can't do the loop. Millennium Trail here to Elk Falls is unchanged. So we're going, once the generating station's gone down to the floor level, we're going to reinstate the Canyon View Trail near along the river. It'll be a little bit different. People have access to the river, and then we're also working about restoring public river access into the river. So that'll happen all probably around September. But yeah, here yeah, something's definitely missing, but that's a good thing. And it's gone. They're going to remove some of the contaminated soils. That'll happen later on and be properly disposed.
Holders there.
That's right. We had ring girders attached to them to hold them in place. That'll all be removed. It'll be all to wildland standards, which is clean soil. And then we'll have the area reforested, or some plantings, and allow the area to become forest again over a period of decades. So this will all be look good. This bridge will stay in place in terms of access to Elk Falls. This is permanent, so that'll stay in place.
And this leads to the Elk Falls Suspension Bridge, which is another project that we've had the privilege of following, which was a project partner with BC Hydro.
Yeah, Rotary Club and BC Parks and Hydro.
Rotary Club and City of Campbell River and Parks BC, and it was awesome. So you can come here and see the reforested land and go for a walk on the bridge. What an amazing 6 years this has been.
Yeah, I really appreciate Shaw TV and Mary Ruth and Gord coming out here to film it. You've seen it firsthand, and it's pretty amazing to see it. Now it's near the end, but it's all gone really well, and I appreciate Shaw TV coming out and helping inform the community. It's good stuff.
It's been a fantastic time. It's just been so informative and amazing that this actually it's just so great.
It's a massive project, so close to home, and a lot of people are interested in it, and appreciate the opportunity.
All right, well, Stephen, thank you so much. You've been watching Community Producers. I'm Mary Ruth Harris. See you soon.